Greetings all. It's Wisdom Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Journeying Within, where we explore the landscapes of both the outer world and our inner selves. Today, our journey takes us to Amboy, a small logging town in Washington State in the USA, where I had the privilege of visiting with my dear friend Vanda. This trip sparked deep reflections on heritage, history, and the connections we form beyond race and ethnicity. Emancipation Day was recently celebrated in Trinidad and Tobago, a day dedicated to honoring the rich and resilient heritage of African descendants and the profound significance of emancipation from slavery in our collective history. Heritage is a tapestry woven with stories, traditions, and legacies passed down through generations. While it is essential to recognize and celebrate our African roots, it is equally important to understand that every culture and every person has a story worth telling. None of us has a monopoly on suffering, and all of our histories contribute to the shared human experience. My friend Vanda, who grew up there, shared her childhood memories and the tales of Nick's Bar and Grill, which was simply known as Nick's back in the day. The establishment has stood the test of time since 1951. Vanda knew the original owner, Nick, and often played with his nephew, Jimmy. They were allowed to play on and around the pool table when the bar was closed. She recalls an incident where she, in a fit of childhood frustration, hurled a ball from the table at her brother, breaking a window pane in the process. When her father was called, he initially blamed her brother for the damage. But on learning it was Vanda who had thrown the ball, he humorously chided her brother for ducking instead of catching it, even if it was caught by his head. This journey into her past made me reflect deeply on the concept of heritage and the connections we form beyond the boundaries of race and ethnicity. As I reflected on Vanda's stories, I couldn't help but think about the broader concepts of history and heritage. History provides us with a factual account of the past, meticulously recorded and analyzed. It tells us what happened, who was involved, and the outcomes of those events. Heritage, on the other hand, is more personal and selective. It is the legacy we choose to remember, celebrate, and pass down. While history is often seen as objective, heritage is deeply subjective, reflecting the values, traditions, and memories that resonate with us personally. It is essential to recognize that many of the divisions we experience today are not natural, but were deliberately constructed by individuals and systems with ulterior motives. These motives often revolved around power, control, and economic gain, and they relied on fostering division and prejudice. Understanding this helps us see that these divisions are not inherent, but rather imposed, and can therefore be dismantled. This distinction is crucial when we consider how people from different ethnic groups might approach the past. Every culture has its own history, full of triumphs and tragedies. Yet, heritage is what we hold close, what we use to define ourselves and our communities. It is in this space that we can find common ground, even as we acknowledge the painful realities of the past. Understanding heritage allows us to see the humanity in each other, to recognize that while our histories may be different, our desire to connect, to belong, and to find meaning in our lives is universal. In a world often divided by differences, Vanda and I have built a friendship grounded in our shared humanity. We met by chance, two individuals from different backgrounds, and found common ground in our stories and experiences. Our friendship reminds me that while we may struggle with the legacies of injustice and the challenge of unlearning biases, there is immense power in seeing each other as members of the human race first. Overcoming the biases and indoctrinations of the past is no easy task. It requires continuous effort, self reflection, and a commitment to growth. But by acknowledging these challenges and facing them head on, we can create lasting change, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. Our friendship, despite our differing backgrounds, serves as a testament to the potential for unity in a world often divided by race and ethnicity. It is a reminder that while we must never forget the injustices of the past, we can choose how we move forward. By embracing each other's stories, by opening ourselves to experiences and perspectives of others, we can build bridges that connect us across these divides. This Emancipation season, let us celebrate our African heritage with pride. But let us also recognize the diverse histories that shape our world. Let us honor the legacy of our ancestors by fostering connections that transcend race and ethnicity, and by striving to create a more inclusive and understanding world. The healing of our planet and our societies depends on individual action. We are living in a time where information is abundant, and with an unbiased approach, we can understand that the pain of the past, while valid, should not be a reason to perpetuate the timeline of atrocities. While we cannot change the global mindset that has been ingrained for centuries, we can, on an individual level, embrace those who are willing to recognize that we all belong to the human race. Our shared existence on this planet comes with a responsibility not only to each other, but to the environment that sustains us. The ongoing wars, greed, and divisions not only threaten our own survival, but also that of the planet and all its inhabitants. Education and awareness are powerful tools in overcoming the indoctrinations of the past. By seeking out diverse perspectives and learning about the histories and cultures of others, we can dismantle the prejudices that have been instilled in us. This process of unlearning is crucial if we are to build a world based on understanding, respect, and shared humanity. The scales seem to be falling from the eyes of those who were once blinded by prejudice and misinformation. As we move into this new era, we must encourage acceptance, forgiveness, and a commitment to never uphold the thoughts, words, or deeds of a past that sought to divide us. While individual actions are crucial, collective efforts can amplify the impact. By working together, sharing stories, and supporting one another, we can create a broader movement towards inclusivity and understanding. Let us not only reflect on our own heritage and connections, but also actively engage in building bridges within our communities. By fostering a sense of shared humanity, we can create a future that honors all histories, all heritages, and the connections that bind us together as one human family. In conclusion, this piece is not about defending the use of stories from different backgrounds. Instead, it is a celebration of the richness of all histories and the potential for unity through understanding and respect. By acknowledging our diverse heritages and the shared struggles we have all faced, we can move towards a more harmonious future. A future where heritage is not a source of division, but a foundation for connection, understanding, and peace. As we conclude this journey through Amboy, I encourage you to reflect on your own heritage and the connections that shape your life. Remember, our shared humanity transcends race and ethnicity, and it is through understanding and respect that we build a more inclusive world. The responsibility for change lies with each of us. By choosing to embrace inclusivity and reject the divisions of the past, we can create a ripple effect that spreads throughout our communities and beyond. Thank you for joining me on this leg of the Journeying Within series. Stay tuned for more explorations of the places and stories that shape who we are.